Hello, this is Fabian Cheng, Senior Engineering Manager from the Bureau of Street Lighting. Today, as part of the Smart City Conference, I'll be giving you an overview of our co-location program, followed by a 20-minute panel discussion. Welcome to the City of Los Angeles Bureau of Street Lighting co-location program presentation. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of the program, show you some cool pictures, and share some data and interesting facts. Back in the year 2004, City Council approved an ordinance allowing telecommunication companies to attach their equipment on street lighting poles. This opened the door for utilities and cellular companies to use our poles to attach smart meters, sensors, and the latest small cell technology. The City of Los Angeles has over 220,000 streetlights that can potentially be used for this purpose. Currently, the city has master permit agreements with all major carriers and utility companies. And here at the Bureau of Street Lighting, we manage all aspects of the program, from engineering design to construction. This slide shows the workflow and major components of the program. What does it take to process one of these sites in the City of Los Angeles? Well, we can break it down into 4 steps as shown on this slide. Site reservation, permit review and approval, engineering plans, and construction and installation. During the site reservation stage, we check our GIS maps and data to make sure that the pole is available for use. We also check any proposed projects in the area to make sure that there won't be a conflict with the co-location site. Once the site has been reserved and a permit has been submitted, we review all documentation and make sure there are no overhead conflicts and there is enough ADA clearance. In addition to that, we make sure that there is enough power, not only for a street light, but also for the telecommunication equipment to function properly. Once the permit has been approved, our engineers design and prepare street lighting plans with foundation details and pole specifications. After the plans are signed and stamped by our engineers, they are sent to our field operations for construction. Crews are responsible for traffic control and coordination and pole delivery schedule. Speaking of construction, what does it take to build a site? Here's a time-lapse video showing how crews dig and pour a foundation for an integrated pole. Crews start by breaking and removing the sidewalk. Notice that the old concrete pole box is also removed and a small trench is made for electrical connections. They continue to manually excavate the foundation. In general, the size of the foundation is 4 feet by 4 feet squared, with a depth of 48 to 52 inches. Depending on soil conditions, this process can take 3 hours for soft soils and up to 4 hours for rocky soils, especially in hilly areas of the city. Approximately 2 cubic yards of dirt are placed on a dump truck and taken off-site. A new tamper-resistant pull box is also installed. Once the cavity is dug to the required size, crews work on assembling the cage, which includes steel rebar, conduits for fiber and power, and a drain hole pipe. At this stage, any utilities adjacent or within the foundation are encased with sleeves so that there's no disturbance or stress from the foundation. Right here, we see most of the internal components of the foundation: the anchor rods, bonding strap, and conduit connections. Once everything is in place, the foundation is ready to be poured. A ready-mix truck arrives on site and delivers the concrete mix. This step takes just a couple of minutes to complete. The whole foundation is left to cure for approximately 36 hours. At the time, crews will schedule the delivery of the integrated pole and will set the pole onto the new foundation. Here we see the different types of integrated poles that have been installed throughout the city. As you can see, all equipment is housed within the pole structure, eliminating the visual clutter of wires, cables, and boxes. In general, the antennas are positioned near the top of the pole. The picture on the far left shows a dual carrier option that accommodates two different carriers at the base of the pole. The picture on the right corner shows a design with a 4G antenna at the top of the pole. All other equipment is inside the pole and ventilated by grill openings along the pole. The picture in the middle is the latest 4G and 5G configuration, with three 5G antennas below the luminaire arm and a 4G canister antenna at the top of the pole. All radios are inside the pole. These designs blend well with the other existing streetlights and the streetscape. For the most part, these poles are installed in commercial and business areas, but we have seen a slight increase on residential areas as well. Here at the Bureau of Street Lighting, we strive to create a balance between the carrier's needs and the city's requirements, taking into account scale, aesthetics, and community identity. This chart shows the number of installations over the years. Even though the city policy was established in 2004, it wasn't until 2014 that we started to see an increase in the number of applications. The blue bars indicate the number of permits processed. As you can see, since 2015, there has been a steadily increase, and we forecast a total of 1,200 permits will be processed in the next calendar year, 2021. I want to point out the red bars, which represent the number of attachments on existing street lighting poles, which peaked on the year 2018. If you were to draw a line over these bars, you will see something that resembles a normal distribution, or a bell curve. The reason for this distribution is the fact that on the year 2019, the Bureau changed its policy to require a concealment option for the telecommunication equipment, which ultimately led to the adoption of integrated poles for equipment exceeding a size of 1 cubic foot. As a result, you see a steep increase in the number of integrated poles, sometimes referred to as smart poles. On this chart, they're indicated by the green bars. The city's colocation program has been a success on two fronts. First, reducing the amount of visual clutter on the right-of-way, and two, by providing extended cellular and data connectivity to the residents of Los Angeles. Here are a few points that I would like to call accomplishments that show how we have grown and adapted to a program that continuously evolves. So far, we've completed over 3,000 sites citywide. We have been able to streamline the permitting process by introducing virtual, collaborative spaces where we can share information and provide better service to the carriers and their vendors. Throughout the process, we have approved 6 integrated pole designs from different manufacturers, giving several options to the carriers for the procurement of the poles. We have standardized foundation specifications for all integrated poles, so that all poles, regardless of manufacturer, utilize the same foundation size and bolt circle configuration. Finally, we have increased our efficiencies, both on the engineering side and on the construction side with our field operations. This concludes the presentation. I hope you found it informative and interesting. Following is a panel discussion with some of the key players that have worked with the city hand in hand on the colocation program. You will have an opportunity to see the program from a different point of view, from the carriers, manufacturers, and utility company. For more information about the city's co-location program, you may visit our webpage at www.bsl.lacity.org/smartcity.html. Thank you. Stay safe, stay connected. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fabian Cheng. I'm the Senior Engineering Manager from the Bureau of Street Lighting. I oversee the co-location program. And today we're gonna talk a little bit more about the program. I have lined up here a few participants that are active key players in our program, and they're gonna share some of the knowledge, some of the experiences that they've had with the Bureau of Street Lighting. And hopefully you'll be able to learn a little bit more about our program and give you a little bit more of an insight as to what does it take to run this program from the city's perspective and also from the carriers and manufacturers. So with that, I would like to introduce our participants today. We have Omar Mir representing AT&T. We have Joel Crane from Verizon, Matthew Howard from Conceal Fab, and Jonathan Morris, right, from Conceal Fab. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us what you do within your own company, and we'll get started with that. So I guess we can start with Omar.
Sure. Thank you, Fabian, first of all, for inviting me to be part of this panel. My name is Omar Mir. I work for AT&T. I'm an area manager in the small cells program, part of the team in charge of deploying small cells in the greater Los Angeles market.
Thank you. Joel?
All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Fabian, for putting this together. It's an honor to participate. My name is Joel Crane, Senior Manager for Real Estate for Southern California for the Verizon team. And my responsibility is to get the permitting for all of the small cells within Southern California. And for us, that means Ventura down to San Diego, Arizona to the ocean.
Great. Thank you. Matt?
Yeah, thanks, Fabian. We're glad to be here too. My name is Matt Howard. I'm the VP of Product Line Management, specifically overseeing concealment poles, although most of my work is over on the East Coast. Still, at the time of the BSL program, I was actually engineering manager at the time. So, kind of familiar with what's going on with the BSL story and AT&T and Verizon, and happy to support today.
Great, thank you. And lastly, Morris.
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Morris. I'm the Director of Product Line Management, primarily focusing on our attachment products, but I'm also responsible for the West Coast, so in the BSL territory. So I've been a part of this program in the background for the last few years.
Great, thank you. And just to mention for everybody's knowledge, we've been together with all these key players for the last at least 5 years, if I can recall. I know, this program originally started back in, actually the policy started in 2004, but it wasn't until 2014 that we saw a great increase in the number of applications, especially for small cells in the city of LA. So it's a program that has been going for quite a while, and we've had, great communication with all you guys, and actually a great partnership and working relationship with you guys. So I want to start with the first questions, mainly towards the carriers. Since the start of the program, teamwork has been a very key component in our success, working through the challenges and becoming more efficient in our work. And today we're facing a great challenge, which is the pandemic, COVID-19. How have the recent events of COVID-19 changed your small cell program? And what do you see has been the greatest accomplishment in our partnership? So we can start with Joel.
You bet. So I like talking about this kind of stuff because it's something that our teams have really come together to understand the different challenges for our programs, and that the challenges over the last couple of years have really evolved. So, with the pandemic, it's definitely increased the dependence on telework, remote learning, telemedicine, and even online civic engagement. And that's really increased the urgency for accelerating the deployment of our critical network infrastructure. And as mentioned, both teams were able to leverage technology and really work together to continue that forward momentum of our program. And some of the technology that we've been able to use together would include web conferences so that we can meet on a weekly or monthly basis, or a web conference just to do a remote viewing of a location. So if we're inspecting a pole that was just set, or we're identifying a new location. Additionally, we use a digital signature for our leasing documents, and we leverage shared drives and online documents to keep everything moving since we cannot meet in person. We're definitely grateful for our partnership and everything we've been able to work on together and identifying ways to streamline the process. Open communication and transparency has definitely allowed our teams to improve the processes, standardize the documentation, and our designs for small cell deployment. And all of that together has really allowed us to increase the speed and volume for our program.
Great, thank you. And Omar, I'm assuming that you faced similar challenges. It's not just Verizon of company X, Y, and Z. It's the whole world. So how does AT&T have face its challenges?
Challenging, absolutely. COVID-19 added to our challenges. We've been working together since the last 3-4 years, and as a group, we've been able to clear a lot of roadblocks. But definitely, COVID-19 is testing our ability to perform. However, we wouldn't be as successful as we currently are had we not had the foundation we had prior to COVID-19. So if you ask me what is the greatest accomplishment, I will say is being adaptability. The way that both teams have been able to adapt, the way that AT&T and Bureau Street Lighting have been able to continue to work together in midst of a pandemic is impressive. I can tell you that our numbers continue to improve, and both AT&T and Bureau Street Lighting, I will say, are smarter now with the way we use our resources, the way we implement our solutions. We are more in sync. Our communication has improved. We have our weekly calls that we had pre-COVID-19, and we continue having them now. We are, yes, we're not meeting in person as much as we used to, but the trust and partnership that we created before COVID-19 is definitely paying off dividends. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see what we've been able to accomplish in these last few months and how COVID-19 has pushed us to other limits.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that. I want to bring in ConcealFab now and talk a little bit more about the program, the products. You guys have worked with both AT&T and Verizon, and I think your company is big enough so that you have been able to work with many municipalities, not just LA, but throughout the nation. You've created a product as part of a changing and evolving technology, as we've seen changes from 4G, 5G, and who knows what's coming in the future. How were you able to accommodate the needs from different carriers?
Yeah, thanks, Fabian. So we've been developing and deploying small cell infrastructure for years now. Some of our first pole deployments were in some of the more difficult jurisdictions. In South Florida, in Savannah, so in Florida with the high winds, and in Savannah with strict aesthetic requirements. And throughout these years, we've really honed in and optimized our pole solution, taking in all the feedback from the cities, from the construction teams, to make it a great product. And so we were ready by the time we started interacting with the city of LA, with Verizon, AT&T, really have an optimized pole solution. And into that, we really made the design modular. So regardless of what telecom equipment the carriers are trying to deploy, we can maintain a similar aesthetic independent of their equipment. And also, we are looking towards the future to make future accommodations for other smart city technology, cameras, Wi-Fi, in order to make our products future-proof.
Great, thank you. And just a follow up on that, your product, it resembles pretty much what a streetlight looks like in the city of LA, but it is more than just a regular pole. So can you talk a little bit more about the behind the scenes technology that you use to develop this product so that everything is suitable for the telecommunication companies?
Yeah, sure. So there's lots of telecom equipment that goes inside of our pole to get service for AT&T and Verizon customers. To make sure that equipment functions properly and that the pole can withstand the seismic and wind loadings of the city, we do RF testing, thermal testing, structural analysis, and PIM testing. PIM is, in simple terms, interference with the cellular signal. So for RF testing, we've done a lot of testing to make a millimeter wave friendly material. So a lot of the operators are deploying their networks, their 5G networks at millimeter wave frequencies, which are incredibly finicky. They hit a tree, if they hit glass, they get trashed. So you obviously need a very particular material that can go in front of it. So we did RF testing to make sure that works. Also, a lot of heat generating equipment goes inside of our poles, and AT&T and Verizon spend lots of money on that equipment, and they want to make sure it continues to function. So all of our products are thermally tested or analyzed in order to make sure that that happens. And you as a city, you want to make sure the pole is going to last a long time and not going to fall over and cause harm. So we structurally analyze, and even we've done some destructive testing where we fully load the pole. And even the most recent testing we've done, we maxed out the testing equipment before we were able to cause destruction to the pole. And then we also do the PIM testing, just making sure that the pole does not cause additional interference for the cellular signal for the carriers. So that's a lot of what's going on in the background for our products.
Right, and that's great. That's great. I'll go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was just going to say too, one thing I'd add to it too is some of the factors that really helped ConcealFab support Verizon and AT&T at the onset of this program. We have really, really tremendous radio OEM partnerships in place already. And so by the time, Ericsson or Nokia or Samsung, as an example, release a new product to the industry, there's a good chance ConcealFab has already got the product in-house at ConcealFab. So we can do fit checks, we can do thermal analysis, we can do RF analysis. And oftentimes we're getting some of that CAD data even before the product is released. And so by having those partnerships in place, they really help us put our foot down, pedal to the metal. We get our products out quickly, and we have such a wide range of 4G and 5G solutions. So, John Morris explained that too, our modular approach. We have 4G and 5G solutions, nice concealment pole designs. And then by the time BSL comes into the picture, we're really just mixing and matching and bringing the right product to the finish line for BSL and for AT&T and Verizon in this case.
Yeah, and that's great. We've worked with you guys also on the aesthetic portion, because from the city's perspective is we want to make sure that the pole is as streamlined as it can be. We want to make sure that everything is as tidied up as can be, minimizing the visual clutter. We really wanted to blend with our regular street lights, and you have been able to do that and continue to do that. And I want to thank you for that partnership with you guys, and also together with the carriers, because it's a big partnership. It's a big collaboration between all the players. So you've been able to successfully done that, and it's very good. So thank you for that. Moving along, I wanted to talk a little bit more about technology. With the increased number of co-location sites throughout the city, AT&T and Verizon, do you think there is an opportunity to introduce other smart city components to the network, such as Wi-Fi, maybe some environmental sensors or digital signage. Do you see there is an opportunity for that? Do you see anything that could be perhaps incorporated and make these poles even greater?
If I may, yes. We just heard 4G and 5G, right? And how we are implementing solutions that allow for both technologies to coexist. We expect great things from 5G. 5G is going to allow us to take technology to a different level. We expect to see more applications. We expect to see more of these devices. And we're not talking just a smartphone device, but we're talking smart cars, smart poles. You talk about sensors. Yes, we expect that there will be development of that technology with 5G that will allow us to have smart cities and smart everything, right? We expect 5G to definitely help in implementing all those technologies, things that we haven't even thought of.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo that. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense since you have this brand new structure out there and you do already have this wireless connectivity that's present. So you've got power, you've got connectivity. It makes a lot of sense to deploy these devices. And as Omar said, there's a lot of things that we don't know. We've got some ideas on what might be deployed. So Wi-Fi, digital signage, numerous sensors, cameras, etc., that would really help cities make better, smarter decisions and really have that real-time information, in addition to having the ability to launch applications such as smart cars. So there really is, we'll get that network out there, and then we'll work with developers to create those next level products that can be deployed. And having a strong structure that's integrated well into the environment, it makes sense to attach those smart devices to it.
Great. And Matt or John, I know you probably have seen some of this technology or the need to do something like this, even go far beyond the small cells. I've seen a lot of the integrated poles that you have done. We have approved a couple, 2 or 3 here in the city of LA. But besides the integrated poles, what other solutions do you offer the carriers and municipalities throughout the country or the world, for that matter, for the deployment of small cells?
Yeah. So obviously we offer lots of different concealment pole variants. And so I'm the director of product management for all of our pole attachments. So we offer a wide variety of different 4G and 5G attachments that can attach to existing infrastructure or new poles. And we're well aware that not every city wants the same thing. So we've invested heavily in our engineering department to repackage the same different piece of equipment to meet whatever aesthetic requirements that the city has. So we have you shrouded if you need something.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of solutions, and I'm just thinking ahead in the near future, because as I said, this is something that's evolving, and we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to bring in this new technologies at the early stages and not the late stages. So I think you already looking into that, and I look forward to anything that may come our way, both from you guys, from the manufacturer's perspective, or even the carriers, because we're excited about what's to come for the small cells, for the 5G, or anything that's going to add for LA to be a smart city or a smarter city. We are the leaders in the nation on this front, so we want to continue to do that. So there's great opportunity for that. I want to circle back a little bit on what's going on today in the world. With the adoption of 5G and the need for more small cells, how have you, AT&T and Verizon, worked with the communities to inform them of the benefits of the new technology? I know this is a technology that's very beneficial. It has a a lot of benefits, but people don't usually see that. They see new equipment on their street, but there's a lot behind that. So what are you doing to inform the community of these great benefits, in the midst of this pandemic?
Fabian, I can tell you that even before the pandemic, our approach was to meet with cities, meet with pole owners, meet with manufacturers, and talk about the benefits of the technology. We now have 4G and 5G, and we are seeing now in this pandemic how important it is to have a robust network. A lot of families, myself included, right? I have kids right now in the other rooms working on their laptops, and everyone is, or a lot of people are working from home. Kids are doing school from home. So it's important that we have a robust network. I think we've learned that. Our cities, our customers are learning that. We continue to educate them, right, the benefits of this new technology and what it will mean, right? We're talking smarter cities, but it's also going to make safer cities, right? It's going to help in the medical industry. It's going to help in the safety. It's going to help people to connect and respond better. So we continue to deliver that message. We have a team that is fully dedicated to interacting with city councils, school boards, city officials, and letting them know that this technology will have all these benefits. And as we've said before, there's so much that we still don't know, right? We know that 5G is going to open up the boundaries, but we expect great things from it. And as we learn, we continue sharing that information with people such as yourself and other individuals from the cities that we work with.
Great, thank you.
All right, yeah, pretty similar. So definitely before we even start off on our deployment, deploying all of our small cell nodes, we want to make sure that we're partnering well with our communities and the pole owners to make sure that we have designs that are aesthetic, which we just talked about, but also really understand why are we deploying these assets throughout the city. And for Verizon, there are a couple key pillars for us in this: digital inclusion, climate protection, and human prosperity. And we want to educate our communities and citizen base on how Verizon can help further those initiatives. And specific to the city of Los Angeles, there's a couple of initiatives that we had been working on even prior to the pandemic, but we launched the Greater Los Angeles Tech Future website. So it's ustechfuture.org. And what that does is, for the entire community, it allows them to understand what is 5G, how it would impact them, and what kind of benefits they can get once 5G is deployed out there, and what kind of opportunities that might open. In addition, we work with council members and their offices to provide small cell one-on-one workshops. So what is a small cell? And how are we deploying it? How do we choose to deploy our network? And how are we partnering with the city departments in deployment of that? And to follow up on that one, we provide both BSL and any council offices documentation, especially around radio frequency emissions. We provided that in English and Spanish to discuss the facts and the myths around emissions for cellular frequencies. And then lastly, we've participated in several forums throughout the city. The mayor's office had a telecom and digital equity forum that we participated in to make sure that we were advancing initiatives that the city was looking forward to. In addition, we worked with the Bureau of Engineering to discuss microtrenching. And I know we're talking about wireless, but we certainly do need fiber to be brought to all those small cell nodes. And then lastly, Verizon has launched an initiative in July called Citizen Verizon. And as part of that, we plan to train 10 million youths on 5G and provide the digital skills necessary to thrive in the modern economy. And then lastly, prepare 500,000 individuals for jobs in technology by 2030.
Great, thank you. That's very good, and I do appreciate your support on the community side, because we, we're in the city here, are public servants. Our jobs and duties are to serve the city of Los Angeles, and we understand that we have a working relationship with you guys, but we have to create a balance between this relationship that we have by working in our infrastructure, but also on the community side, because the constituents are part of this city, and we want to make sure that everybody's happy as much as we can make it happy for them. And I do appreciate that support both from you, AT&T, and Verizon in dealing with those cases where we need additional information that perhaps you guys have more expertise at. So I really do appreciate that, and I welcome the opportunity to continue to do that with the community, the council office, and the mayor's office. And thank you for that.
Absolutely.
This comes to pretty much the end of this presentation, but I wanted to give an opportunity to everybody to share in any last thoughts, anything that you think other municipalities in other cities in the U.S. could benefit from anything that we haven't discussed shortly, so that they can have a little bit more of a clear direction or clear path for their own cities. So we can start with, I guess, ConcealFab. You have anything to add?
Yeah, Fabian, it's a good question. I think I just add that we have a continuous improvement mentality at ConcealFab. And so I just wanted to say we are definitely listening. And I think we have a pretty good idea about what smart cities are trying to embark upon, and we're here to support you. And I think that goes for AT&T and Verizon too. We're listening, and we're ready to embark on what 2020 and 2021 have to offer.
Great, thank you. Omar?
Fabian, I will say, if we want to be successful, right, or any other city that's going to watch this video, it requires partnership, right? It requires partnership. It requires support. If the cities are part of the discussion and part of decision making and coming up with ideas, they can experience the success that we are having in City of Los Angeles. It definitely helps when we have a city that welcomes the technology, a city that is not afraid of trying different things. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we move on, we try something else. And I think that's the approach that we've had with Bureau Street Lighting from day one. And I appreciate it. And I thank you for your leadership, because it's definitely helped in taking this program to another level, and to continue having the success that we're having in City of Los Angeles. We gotta continue operating in this way, and just keep working on finding new ideas and solutions. Thank you for that.
Yep. No, I'd echo that. I mean, really, the main thing is let's work on that partnership together. So carriers and cities do not have to be contentious. It can be a partnership, and the carriers are very open to discuss our plans, our designs, and we want to come to the table and partner with the jurisdictions on the best way to deploy in those jurisdictions. And we've been able to take some of those best practices that we've learned in working with BSL and taking that to other jurisdictions, and being able to take those same lessons and create success in other jurisdictions. So yeah, definitely a partnership, and keep that communication open.
Great. Thank you, guys. And once again, thank you for taking time off your schedule to share some of the information, some of the experience that you've gone through here with the City of Los Angeles. I hope that everybody found it useful, found it interesting, and perhaps it opens a door for this technology to keep growing throughout the city, the other cities, nations, and also together with manufacturers like ConcealFab to be able to introduce the latest and greatest technology throughout throughout the different municipalities. So thank you once again, and I hope to see you soon. And take care and stay safe.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Fabian.
Be safe, everybody.